Good morning from Freedom Bulkheads. We're in Wichita, Kansas at the laundry station with Sharon and Steve Brinks in their beautiful new store, and they have some Freedom Bulkheads in here. And I told them we're friends. I told them I'd come up and deliver them for them, and I wasn't able to come when they were delivered, but I was able to come a little later. And now we're just kind of doing the final touches, adjusting a few things on the covers. I've learned a few questions to ask. It helps clarify everything. But I just thought I'd show you it's quiet for just one moment, just what the system looks like. So we have an end panel and a lock on it. And you walk in, you see your walking platform, and I have these really light tops, and you just pick them up and set them out of the way when you're accessing your bulkhead. In this case, I'm doing it one-handed since I'm holding the phone with one hand. Now, Steve's bulkheads are a little bit wider because the plumber made a mistake and put the in-ground pipes too far apart. They don't have to be this wide, but they have a beautiful big store, and you can see you just walk right in, pick up the covers. I'm doing this one-handed, and I'm walking in, and you see here's your frame, your walking platform, covers touch. In this case, he wanted a lot of outlets so he could run ozone system maybe later, and you just, ta-da, here you go. Now, we're gonna put these wings to kind of cover. He wanted the wing a little longer, so I brought a new panel. You just unscrew it, screw it on, easy peasy. In this case, he wanted something interesting, which is an inset panel. So we made the wiring inset for the breaker panel. We have two wings that go over. In this case, these are gonna go right over the washer, kind of fit right snug to it, and on each side. Some of this requires a little, if you want them to be really snug, it requires a little bit of infield adjustment, so no problem. If you want them to have a gap, because it says that we're gonna have a 1/2 inch gap in between the washers, but is it a 1/2 inch? Is it 7/16? Is it 5/8? So a little bit, if you want them to be perfectly snug, a little infield adjustment, or what we do on the double-sided split units is we make the split where you can adjust the split just a little bit to get the panels right on the edge where they snug up against the washers again, because it's hard to say before the washers are installed. It's exactly 212 inches and 3/8. So if it's 212 inches and 3/4, you'll have a little bit of a gap. That's one way to solve that problem. Maybe it doesn't matter to you. Some people it really does. So again, we have this end panel with the two little wings. I'm actually okay without having the wings for my stores. It doesn't bother me at all to have a little reveal there. But if you want the reveal covered, one technique is just supply these end panels, and you can fit them in with a couple of different options. I'm using some of them I can screw on. Some of them I'll get the little corner bracketing materials from Home Depot even. So just what these are. So in this case, there's a reveal right here. Again, I'm okay with that. But if you want it covered, it's so easy. Send you some of these panels, and you just get a little bracket on the back side, these little corner braces, mount it right there, screw it on, and now you've got a brushed aluminum finished material that complements your washers, which are the star of the show, and you can hide your gaps. In this case, we have another door. There's a 2-inch gap here, so I brought a piece to kind of mount right there. And here's your walking platform. So if you've ever installed washers and dryers, you have to crawl in there a lot. If it's a normal bulkhead with a solid top, you have to crawl down in the middle or get on top of your washer and jump down, which means that the back of your washer panels are bent or can be bent. It's very hard not to bend them. But with our patented design where there's no crossbar, the water is on each side, the electric is on each side, there's nothing keeping you from accessing your bulkhead for installation and for service, which is exactly what we do here. In this case, he has an in-ground pit, and the drain is right here, so there's he'll have to maybe shorten this just so he can get into it. Then my walking platform begins just past the screen, and here's the union of the two bulkheads. In this case, he wanted to really make sure he had plenty of pressure all the way to the end. So each side has its own hot and its own cold. In this case, we made a loop. So there's equalized pressure all the way down to the end of the line for the water, so that there's no machine starving for water down here. So that's how you solve that problem. We put a splash guard at the end of the unit so that if there was a hose failure, it's not splashing directly onto the electrical panel. Ta-da! Again, he wanted the multi boxes in the center. In this case, we have a little gap so you can adjust that plus or minus to get exactly the fit you want down on the end. Again, if it's a little too long, it's hard to shorten it. You have to, sawzall a piece. Then we lay it all out and measure where none of the drops are going to be where there's a frame rail. Now, that doesn't mean we can't make a mistake or something changes. That's certainly possible, but we lay it out as you showed it to us, and we'll avoid having to... I made a mistake on a couple of those in the beginning. I didn't do that correctly, so a couple people had to saw off a leg, which is okay too. You can do it, but it does add a little more work. Since corrected that from those first couple of prototype units I sent out. Anyway, this is how you do it. So again, when you walk up here to access this piece, you'll have those same panels. You just lift them up, set them over, and again, you'll be doing it with two hands instead of just one like I'm doing right now with the holding the phone. So you just walk up there, whoop. Freedom Bulkheads, because freedom is better by laundry owners for laundry owners, because we've thought about what it takes to run a store, not just what it takes to, sell the products to a store. How do you run it? And what I want is the washers to be the star of the show. I don't want the bulkhead sticking up above the washers so that, if a lady is short, she can see. If the bulkhead is 8 inches taller, she couldn't see the dryers. It doesn't feel as spacious to me. And of course, you can also make them narrower. So these again are 32 inches wide. I can't remember, but they would normally only be 24 inches wide. Again, there was a plumbing problem. That's why they had to. So that means you could have a foot more dance floor in this store, a foot more space for the guest to enjoy the store and have more room to walk and get more flow. I'm Paul Pettifer, Freedom Bulkheads, because freedom is better. We can't wait to make some for you. FreedomBulkheads.com.